This is Kevin Deal. Today we're going to take a look at the PrimaLuna DiaLogue Premium Power Amp. I was reading the review from Art Dudley that was printed in Stereophile magazine, and I'm going to tell you a secret. He was supposed to review a pair of these. You know, Art Dudley is a very, very knowledgeable reviewer, and he typically reviews products like Lamb and Shindo and products that cost $20,000, $30,000. And so the idea of having him review just one of these amplifiers certainly wasn't going to happen. So we were going to send him a pair, but because of a mistake at our warehouse, they only sent one. And we weren't even aware of that until the review was going into print. And I was shocked by that. How could somebody like Art Dudley write a terrific review about an amplifier that sells for only $31.99. But then I read what he had to say. I tried to find fault with the PrimaLuna DiaLogue Premium. I failed. In particular, I tried to detect some mechanical or otherwise non-natural, non-organic quality to its sound, given the preponderance of switches and silicon inside its good-looking casework. I failed at that too. I've had the pleasure of reviewing some remarkable amplifiers in the past few years. In many respects, the DiaLogue Premium, though far from the most expensive, is among the top 4 or 5 most enjoyable. Those are big words. So how can that happen? Well, let's take a look. This amplifier is 36 watts per channel with the L34s, 18 watts per channel in triode. It is one of the only products in the world, in fact, it's the only product I can think of, that allows you to change the operation of the amplifier from the included wireless remote control. When the red light is on, we're in ultralinear. Ultralinear means ultralinear, the flattest response. Triode operation is a warmer, some call it a more organic sound. It's a more relaxed presentation. So literally, you're going to be getting 2 amplifiers in one here. If you have any recordings that you find that you stop listening to them because they're kind of aggressive, kind of forward, switch the amp to triode. All that aggression goes away. It literally will expand your listening library. It seems like 36 watts is not very much power. I am telling you this with calm assurance. Because of PrimaLuna's output transformers and ultra-wide bandwidth, this amp will outperform 100-watt amplifiers from other manufacturers all day, every day. You can get a little more power out of it by running other tubes. You can run KT88s to get 40 watts per channel, KT120s to get 42 watts per channel, or the huge KT150 tubes to get 48 watts per channel. There's a tube selector switch on the side to fine-tune the bias for the tubes. You can have all the fun that you want. Now, if you need even more power, this amplifier can be run in stereo or in mono operation. In mono, the power is going to double, but not just that. PrimaLuna power amps have 3 different speaker taps on the front, so you get the best handshake with your speakers. There's a 4-ohm tap, an 8-ohm tap, and a 16-ohm tap, so you get the best match with the speakers that you're hooking up to it. But in monoblock mode, the tap becomes a 2-ohm, a 4-ohm, and an 8-ohm tap. These amps are unbelievable with planar speakers, electrostatics, ribbons. It's one of the few tube amplifiers that really, really do well with that. Up in the front end, you're going to see 6 12AU7s. Why 6? 2 of the tubes are preamp gain, input gain tubes. The other 4 tubes are driver tubes. If you look at other manufacturers, they don't use 4 tubes because they want to save money. PrimaLuna uses a pair of tubes for each channel to swing more voltage and give you more dynamics. Plus, you're going to see that PrimaLuna uses 12AU7 tubes in the front end. The reason is this. If you look at an amp with 6H30 tubes, there's nothing you can do to fine-tune the sound to your own personal taste. 12AX7s are kind of expensive and hard to find anymore, but 12AU7s, there's more of them being made around the world than any other part. So if you want to change the sound of this amp, and if you want to fine-tune it to make the puzzle piece fit, you don't have to do it by changing 4 power tubes. Just change 2 input tubes in the front section, and you can literally fine-tune it just the way you want. Now, in the world of new old stock tubes, there's more 12AU7s than any other part, so you can explore things with companies like Mullard and Telefunken, Sifty, Brimar, La Radio Technique, anything you want to have. It's a tremendous amount of fun. Let's look at the insides and see what makes it so special. No other amplifier is going to sound like a PrimaLuna because almost none of them have point-to-point wiring. And this is not just any wire. The entire signal path is wired with Swiss-made, silver-plated, oxygen-free copper with a Teflon dielectric. If you take a tube socket and mount it to a printed circuit board like most companies do, at some point in time you have a good chance that it's going to fail because tubes generate a tremendous amount of heat. And when you pull the tubes out, in and out, you're going to be flexing the board. If you look in a PrimaLuna, there's a panel mounted to the chassis that's fully ventilated. It costs much more money to build this way, but it allows the heat to escape the chassis. You don't have to worry about the tube socket flexing a PCB. And on top of that, point-to-point wiring just has more soul than amplifiers with PCBs. You're going to see that right back here we have a massive toroidal power transformer. Toroids are the gold standard for power transformers, and this is why. They don't radiate noise into the rest of the circuitry. All the EMI gets radiated into the core of the toroid. Now, manufacturers don't like to use them because they cost 5, 6, even 10 times more than a regular C-core transformer does. But PrimaLuna always uses toroids, no matter what the product is. Not only is it a toroid, it's a potted toroid. So the transformer is mounted into a protective metal can, and it's sealed in a non-microphonic resin because you want to protect the transformer and you don't want the transformer radiating mechanical or acoustic noise into the atmosphere. Now, to make sure that it stays absolutely dead silent, PrimaLuna invented this. This is the AC offset killer. It is charged with keeping this transformer inert and dead quiet, no matter what the conditions are of your electricity. Now, if you look at the resistors in the signal path, you're going to see that they're pink in color. And they're not pink to be cute. They're pink because they are TACMAN. TACMAN is a custom-made resistor made in Japan to order. They're known for their low noise and linearity. This is the adaptive auto bias board, and this is where the magic happens. Adaptive auto bias is not just about convenience and not biasing tubes. There's a few companies that have recently come out with auto bias. It is not something that's new. Golden Tube Audio they had auto bias many, many years ago. PrimaLuna wanted to address particular problems that occur with tubes. Number one, what happens when the tubes get old? Tubes don't age evenly. When you got 4 EL34s in here, one of them is going to get soft before the other ones do. So adaptive auto bias is going to see that, and it's going to work hard to make sure that that tube stays in a linear position, especially when you turn up the music. There's something that occurs in a vacuum tube called pinch-off. And to my knowledge, PrimaLuna is the only brand that addresses what happens to a tube when it's being pushed to its limit. So this is not a fixed auto bias circuit. That's why it's called adaptive. This is also where the protection circuitry is housed. In other amplifiers, if a tube shorts, it can mean a trip to the FedEx or UPS counter because you're going to use a cathode, you're going to lose a cathode resistor or a screen resistor. But in a PrimaLuna, there's a relay that opens up on the board at the first sign of trouble. The amplifier goes into protection so nothing can get damaged. There's a red LED that lights up in front of the problem tube to let you know which one needs to be replaced. Turn the amp off, plug in another tube, turn it back on, you're good to go. Nothing to worry about, no adjustments, anybody can do it. This is also where the triode and ultralinear switching is housed, and it's also where the EL34, KT88, KT120 switch is. So it's very, very advanced. PrimaLuna invented adaptive auto bias back in 2003. They've had many, many years to refine it and improve it. So it is the standard. These are the output transformers, and output transformers are where the magic happens. It is half art and it's half science. And PrimaLuna has designed and wound their own output transformers in-house. That's why, read the reviews. Everybody talks about the bass response. This amplifier at 36 watts per channel will give you better bass slam than 100 watt amps from other manufacturers. Look, you need to look at products on Google and use Google Images and look inside to see how they are built. Don't be fooled by lofty claims. Look for real parts, real engineering. Buy something that is iconic, that's built to last a lifetime. This amplifier runs the tubes so easy, you may not change tubes ever. That's what we've done since the beginning. Buy something that's worth owning. The PrimaLuna DiaLogue Premium.